So Malcolm will keep straight legs because he doesn't like crossed legs. His hips don't like crossed legs. So you can take that option as well if you want to. We're going to focus on the shoulders, draw the shoulders back and down. And I want you to imagine your spine is really straight now. And start to draw in the navel towards the spine. Not as if you're going to put your jeans on, but just a soft contraction of navel draws to spine. And then bring your arms into your warrior arms. I'm going to take some nice, easy twists. So take an inhale and exhale to the right. Inhale to the center and exhale to the left. And we're going to just continue to do that. And when it feels appropriate, we may want to speed up. So don't speed up yet, just I want you to be aware of what's happening in the abdominal. We're just really getting into the abs now. It's actually called a Kriya, so it's actually a cleansing movement. So if you have had all that chocolate, excluding Peter who doesn't eat chocolate, then we can really sort of work out getting rid of some detoxification that we may have in the body. And then we can just speed it up if we want to. So just don't worry about your breath if you're speeding it up. Just keep speeding it up. See how it feels. Be aware of the spine being straight. Be aware of that slight contraction of the navel to the spine. And we keep that twisting going. You can be very slow or you can speed it. Your choice. I'm going to do a couple more. And when we finish, you'll probably be a little bit lightheaded. So we'll stop and bring the hands onto our lap or onto our knees. And we just be aware that we may feel a little bit lightheaded. Just connect with the breath again. So let's take nice, long, deep inhales and long exhales. And then it's the last long, deep inhale and long exhale. So taking your right arm all the way up to the ceiling, we're just going to have a nice lateral stretch. Just lean over and have a nice lateral stretch. And then come back to the center, take the opposite arm up, and lengthen up. And have that lovely lateral stretch. Remember, we're working into the core and into the spine. And we lift. And maybe walk the fingers away and we take a deeper stretch. I want to keep both buttocks down on the mat. One will try to lift. Let's draw it back down to the mat so we get maximum stretch. And then we come back up again and again, walking with the fingers if it feels appropriate, keeping buttocks anchored down to the earth, and we have that lovely stretch. We'll do that one more time. Lengthen up, walk and stretch. All the way up, walk and stretch. And then we'll come back. We'll bring our fingertips behind us and we'll lengthen through the spine again. Often we tend to have a little bowed position. You want to make sure that your spine is always straight. So whenever we are standing in a queue or whatever we're doing, bring attention to your posture. You want to have this chest nice and open to facilitate maximum breath. We're going to take the cross in an opposite direction. Interlock your fingers, turn the palms away, and inhale. Really stretch up through the belly now. And exhale down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale down. We're going to do 5 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So almost like moving meditation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This is the last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale down. Either leave your hands in your lap or we take a hold. We'll rise up and turn the palms to the ceiling. So just see that extra stretch which we get in the triceps and the biceps. Softly draw the navel towards the spine is straight. And then exhale, release all the way down. Hands on knees or lap, we're going to lift the shoulders up very soft, so soft. And then drop them down equally as soft. Lift up very soft. And drop them down equally as soft. Going to mobilize the shoulder joints, now fingertips onto the shoulders, elbows draw in, big circle, open up that chest. And we're going to do 2 more. Really working into those shoulder joints. And then we're just going to reverse the posture, so bring the elbows together and just take the elbows back this time. And we'll do 2 more. And then we release. We're going to come into all fours. But the best thing if you have back issues is this particular posture, your cat-cow. So your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. We're going to inhale the gaze up and the buttocks up. A nice back bend. We're going to engage the core around the back and bow to look at your navel. Inhale, gazing up, buttocks up, find the back bend. Exhale, round in the back. We're going to do 5 more. I want you to do it in your own breathing now, in your own rhythm, and really take your awareness to your spine. And then this is my last one, maybe your last one. And then we'll come back to neutral. Walk your hands back. Open your knees nice and wide, but leave your big toes touching. You can do this laying down on your back if it's a little bit too intense for the knees. We're just going to stretch the arms out. And if you're on your back, feet together, arms up behind you, long arms. If you're on your tummy, then draw the heart down to the earth. Have a nice stretch in the groin area, nice super long arms. And just breathe. And then slowly walk your hands all the way back. You draw the knees together. If you're on your back, you're coming back into child posture. Nice super long arms in front. So you want to have a real stretch in the armpits. Anchor the hands to the mat as if you super glued them to the mat. And then come onto the knees. Tuck your toes, lift your knees and exhale. Downward facing dog. Now those hamstrings have not been warmed up, so let's warm them up. Bend both knees and hover them over the mat. And now push your hips back. Straighten the legs, draw the heels down, look to your toes. Bend the knees, hover them over the mat, push the hips back. Straighten the legs, exhale, draw the heels down, look to your toes. Down dog. Let's do 3 more. Focusing on your breath. And then this is the last one. Now you can stay in downward facing dog, or you can take child posture again. If it's too intense on the shoulders, if you're in downward facing dog, draw the navel to the spine. Tailbone up towards the ceiling. Heels approaching the mat. Don't matter if they arrive there. You can bend both your knees if your hamstrings are tight. 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale, knees down, untuck toes, child posture. We'll bring the hands behind us to place them on the heels. You may want to have a block or a cushion underneath your forehead to facilitate the head going down. And just soften the shoulders. And then slowly we'll come back into all fours. So cushions available if you need to have some comfort underneath your knees. You can take 1 foot forward, knee tracking over the ankle at the front. I'm going to tuck the back toe and bring that back knee a little bit closer in so it's more or less underneath the hip. Keep the toes tucked. And inhale, rise up and soften the shoulders. We're going to take both arms all the way up to the ceiling. And exhale down. So be aware what's happening in this back thigh. Getting a nice stretch in the hips there as well. Inhale up and exhale down. Everything's nice and slow and controlled with the breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Bring your fingertips to the earth. The back toe is tucked. We'll lift up the back knee. Push the back heel away, runner's lunge. Nice, easy breathing. So we're tapping in those calf muscles. And then bring the back knee down. Simply change sides. So the opposite foot comes forward. Knee tracks over the ankle. The back toe tucks, and we move that knee a little bit closer towards being underneath the hip. Softly we rise, nothing's rushed. And 5 inhales and exhales. Inhales, exhales. Each time you do this, stretch a little bit more. 2 more. Last one. And exhale. Bring your fingertips to the earth. The back toe is tucked. We just simply lift up the back knee and push back with the back heel. Runner's lunge. And again, be aware of that stretch in the calf muscles. And then bring the knee down. We return to child posture. We're going to go into 3-legged dog. Super long arms in front of you. Onto the knees. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, exhale, downward facing dog. Feel free to stay in child or stay in downward facing dog. Or lift one leg up. Don't go too high. See if you can level off your hips. So don't have a twist in the spine. We want to keep the hips quite level, so the leg is probably not going to be that high. Standing leg is strong. We change sides. So the left leg rises. Whichever leg you put up first, opposite leg, and drop the hips so that they're more neutral. And then release down. And then again, rising up with the opposite leg. Apologies for the telephone. We obviously forgot to take it out of the room. Things happen in life. Take it down. And then the opposite leg is up. And then we release down. Knees onto the mat. And we'll take it into child posture. This time, place your hands underneath your forehead, one on top of the other, and open the knees again. And again, 2 intense on the knees, you can just come onto your back. going to take you into a posture called dolphin. And this is going to really firm up the core, and it's quite strong, strengthening in the shoulders. So we'll come onto all fours. I'll show you what it is first of all. I'm going to bring the elbows to the mat. I'm going to check my elbows are underneath my shoulders. I'm going to interlock my hands. Walk my knees back until they're underneath my hips. And then tuck my toes so it's almost back into downward facing dog, but we're on our elbows. And we lift up, tailbone to the ceiling, heels to the ceiling, and draw the navel towards the spine. Dolphin. 2 more breaths. And then knees down. Either high kneeling if you're not accessible to have the heels on the buttocks. We just take the arms out in front of us. High kneeling if it's not acceptable for kneeling. One arm over the other, and we'll give ourselves a hug. And then one arm in front of the other, and we'll give ourselves another hug. And now we're going to make that posture just a little bit tiny, a bit harder. We're going to work into the core. Exactly the same setup, so follow the setup first of all, and then we'll do it together. So knees together, they're underneath the hips, feet together. We're going to lift up into that same dolphin, but this time with a straight back. We're going to bring the chin to the thumbs and then back again. So the setup is the same. Engage the core, chin to thumbs, plank. Exhale back to dog. Inhale. And exhale. The dolphin planks. And then bring the knees down. Either high kneeling if you're not happy with Virasana. Rise up. And the arms out in front. One elbow over the other. Give ourselves a hug. One arms in front. And give ourselves another hug. Okay, so continuing with the abdominals. So hands underneath shoulders. Knees underneath hips. Left toe is tucked. Fingers are spread. Right toe stretches behind us. So nice straight leg. Options to stay right where you are, or lift up the back leg. Don't have it too high, you'll make your back twist. Have it lower rather than high. Draw the navel into the spine. Option, you're staying here. The deepest option would be to take the opposite long arm forward. Draw the navel back to the spine. Breathe. Change sides. Right toe is tucked, left leg is long. Options, you're staying here, but draw the navel back. The other option, lift up, you're staying here. Remember, not too high, not too low. Just like Goldilocks. Opposite hand leaves, make sure it's the opposite hand. And we lengthen, we breathe. Release the hand down, release the knee down. Same posture, shorter holds. Repetition is better than long holds. Left toe tucks, right leg stretches. We lift, we take our options. Opposite hand leaves the mat. 3 breaths. Change sides. Right toe tucked, left leg long. Options. Engage the core. Lift. Lengthen. Change sides. Last one. Left toe tucked. Right leg. Options. Lift. Engage the core. Lengthen. Change sides. Left toe tucks, lift, lengthen. And then release, staying on your knees, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We take that cat-cow again. So inhale the gaze up and the buttocks up. Exhale, we round the back. Inhale is the lift. Exhale is the rounding. Let's do 3 more. And now you have options to return to child posture, or toes are already tucked. We'll take it to downward facing dog as another option. You're in downward facing dog. Remember, you can bend both knees if your hamstrings are tight. We just tailbone to the ceiling, navel to spine, heels approaching the mat. And from here, we'll bring the knees to the mat, untuck the toes, buttocks to heels. We're just going to have a quick child posture, and then we'll move to Sphinx. We're going to bring our bellies onto the mat and have the elbows underneath the shoulders. So feel free to just stay in Sphinx. You can even have your head supported. This is a really nice back bend. In fact, this is a good way to read your morning paper and have a back bend. But for those who are wanting to work their abdominals, we're going to do forearm plank. So the elbows underneath the shoulders, the feet are together, already in Sphinx. I'm going to give you a modification first of all. So tuck the toes, lift up, push back with the heels, and then drop the knees down to the mat, and then just cross your ankles. So this is your modification. It's half plank. Those who don't want the modification, we lift up the chest in Sphinx. We tuck the toes. We lift up the knees and we push back with the heels. This is the most important part when you go into your forearm plank. Push back with the heels, squeeze your buttocks, recruit those glutes. One more breath. And then release the body down, untuck your toes and rise up through your Sphinx. 2 more, if you want to. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, push back with the heels. Feel how the plank becomes strong with that push back through the heels. 1 more breath, and release. Untuck the toes, lift up the heart. And remember, repetition is better than long holds, because with repetition, you're fully aware of what you're doing. So here we go again, final one, maybe a little bit shorter. Tuck the toes, lift, push back. And then we release. And from here, hands underneath the shoulders, elbows draw towards the ribs. We rise through the cobra back bend, onto the knees, and we release back into child posture. And then very slowly, we're going to come into all fours, tuck the toes, lift the knees, and exhale to down facing dog. And then walk the feet forward very slowly. Bend your knees. Inhale, we rise all the way up. And exhale back. We're going to come to the front of your mat. So probably one of the really good sun salutations would be the Ashtanga style sun salutation, which incorporates downward facing dog and plank. So come to the front of your mat. Come to the front now. Face that way, okay. And we're going to inhale the arms all the way up. Keep the back straight, no back bend. Bend the knees, swan dive. Either hands on shins or hands on mat. Straight legs, spinal extension, look forward. Bend both knees, hands flat onto the mat. Walk yourself back into plank. Remember, you can always pop the knees down if it's too intense. Engage those legs. And then knees down, belly down. Elbows skim the ribs. Hands under shoulders near the chest. We rise through the cobra, leaving the knees on the mat. Use those knees, come onto the knees, tuck the toes, lift the knees, exhale dog. Couple more breaths, navel to spine, tailbone to the ceiling, heels towards the mat. We'll take that walk forward, bending the knees, hands on mat or shins, straighten the legs, look forward, your spinal extension. Bending the knees if you need to, exhale, take your bow. Bend the knees, engage the core, inhale is the rising, and exhale back. The Samasthiti. We obviously sit down on the telephone, I do apologize. Okay, we're going to do two more if you want to. The inhale is the lift. Exhale, swan dive, bend the knees, especially if you've got back issues. Spinal extension, hands on shins or hands on mat. Exhale, taking your bow, bending the knees as appropriate. You all bend the knees to bring the hands to the mat, walk back to your plank. Remember that plank, push the heels away or knees on the mat. Releasing down, elbows in, rising through the cobra. Now some of you have been practicing for a while. Deeper back bend would be to lift up the knees, up dog. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Just be aware of your breath. Nice easy breathing. And then we'll take that walk forward. Spinal extension, remember hands on shins or hands on mat. Exhale, we'll take that bow, bending the knees as much as we need to. Bend the knees to rise, engage the core, inhale is the lift. And exhale back to Samasthiti. The final round, the inhale, exhale, spinal extension, fingers on the mat or on the shins. Exhale, take your bow, forward bend, bend the knees if you need to. Everybody bend knees, hands flat, walk back to plank. Remember those strong planks. Lay the belly down, elbows in towards the ribs, either using the knees or lift the knees. Exhale back to dog. 5 breaths. And then we'll take the walk forward, spinal extension. Exhale, take your bow. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Bend the knees to rise. Inhale is the lift. And exhale back to the front of your mat. Good work, guys. So I'm hoping you're starting to feel this abdominals. So feet are together, And take your arms up, all the way up, interlock your fingers. Take an inhale and exhale over to the right, half moon. Inhale back to the center and exhale over to the left. Inhale back to the center and exhale over. Maybe take hold of the top wrist and just find that extra bit of stretch in the laterals. Back to the center. And over we go the opposite side. Again, grab hold of the top wrist if it feels appropriate. And then come back to the center. I want you to make sure that you're not twisting in that spine. So both hip bones are facing directly forward. The last one, take an inhale. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back to the center. And exhale over to the left. And then come back to the center and bring your hands down by the side of your body. Soften the shoulders. We've worked quite a lot into the arms, so we're going to leave the arms a little bit to rest for the moment. And we're going to take our chair posture, because chair is the wonderful posture that works every muscle, joint, and all of your internal organs. So you can have your hands on your hips if it's all a bit too much for the shoulders. Arms are here if you've got back issues, and if you've got no back issues, you're going to take them up. And all we're going to do is sit down in an imaginary chair. Just be aware of sitting down. So your tailbone is coming down to the earth and your heart is lifting. And if you want to, those who want to go onto their tippy toes, can go onto their tippy toes. A lot stronger, a lot harder. I'm not doing it, but if you want to, nice easy breathing. And then inhale to rise up. And exhale down. One more, inhale, lift. Exhale, take a seat. Onto the tippy toes again if you want to, but lift up your heart. Draw the navel to the spine. Take a long, deep inhale. And on the exhale, we'll rise up and we'll release that. So we're going to come sideways on your mat. We're going to move into Trikonasana. So remember that side stretch that we've been having at the beginning and those standing postures. We want to find that side stretch again. So inhale up, soften the shoulders. Turn your right foot out and your back foot in. Now just check your knees happy, so just have a little bend of that knee. And maybe walk a little bit further away. So we're going to do this with straight legs. Take an inhale, straighten the legs, and exhale here. Bring one hand to the upper thigh. You can have the other hand on the hip, it feels more appropriate. We want to keep this shoulder back so that we can keep this side stretch. Those who want to can rise up and slide, but it's not coming forward, it's a side stretch. So it's almost like the bottom hips forward and the back hips back, so we can keep this lateral stretch. And once we've found our steady, comfortable position, without locking that front knee, perhaps we'll slide a little bit more. Take your choices. You can still bend the knee, guys. There's no rules. If it feels you want to bend that knee, bend it. Nice, easy breathing. It's this lateral stretch we're looking for. And bend that front knee to rise up. And we're going to turn the opposite foot out. Foot is facing forward. Remember, the hand can come onto the hip if it feels more appropriate. The legs are strong. Hand on thigh first of all. Let's see what happens. One side may be different to the other. Remembering that side stretch, we take a slide down. Bottom hip forward, back hip back to enable us to have the side stretch. Nice, easy breathing. Lots of people want to come all the way down to the earth and see what happens with my back. It's now into the spine rather than into the lateral side of my body. So just be aware with time and patience and focusing on the core with the strong legs. Bend the knee, come back to the center. We'll do that one more time. We turn the foot out. We know what we're doing now. Turn the back foot in. Options. Lengthen and release. Keep that lateral side stretch. Nice, easy breathing. Neck, you can have gaze at the floor. You can have gaze forward, or the ultimate would be gaze up to the thumb, up towards the ceiling. Back foot is strong, pushing through the outer edges of the back foot. Soft bend of the knee back to the center. And then we turn the opposite direction. Nice, easy breathing. Inhale, exhale, lengthen. And we find our first movement. Engage the core, engage the legs. Focus on the back edge of the back foot. Nice, easy breathing. And then subtle bend of that knee, we come back to the center. Good work. So Trikonasana used to be my least favorite posture. I'm still not saying it's my favorite posture, but the more you do it, the more you'll start to enjoy it, I hope. Okay, we're going to go into Warrior Two. So we're going to arms up, right foot, full 90 degrees. Now we are going to bend the knee, and the knee is going to track over the ankle. And then this back foot is going to really push into the earth. And again, we can have hands on our hips if you've done too much shoulder work, or arms out, dropping into this Warrior Two, checking that your knee is tracking over your ankle, the back heel is pushing through the mat. Nice, easy breathing. Draw that back arm back. Breathe. And then inhale as the rise. And then the opposite side, lengthen. Turn the foot out. Bend the knee. Check you can see your second big toe. Take an inhale, exhale. Think about the back edge of the back foot. Draw it down towards the earth. Feel what happens with the leg muscles. Gaze to the fingertips at the front. One more breath. And then inhale back to the center. Okay, we're just going to do one more lateral, and then we'll come back down onto the mat. Arms up, soften the shoulders. We return to Warrior Two with the right foot. And we find ourselves in Warrior Two. Back hand comes to the back thigh, feel the connection. Front hand turns to the ceiling. And as we lift up the front arm, we slide down the back thigh. Now the front knee tries to straighten. Keep it bending. Find that lateral stretch again. Inhale back to your Warrior Two. Exhale into it. And then back to the center. Opposite side, turn. Establish your Warrior Two. And this back leg is strong. Hand on thigh. Remember, the front knee tries to straighten. Turn the palm up to the ceiling at the front. Lift up. Slide down the back thigh. Find that lateral. Bend that knee. Nice, easy breathing. Inhale back to the center. And exhale here. Inhale back to the center. We're coming back to the front of our mats. We're going to lay down on our mats. So we'll come through that beautiful downward facing dog, which is great realignment. Going to inhale the arms up. Bend the knees. Right leg back. Left leg back. We're in downward facing dog. That's a really beautiful alignment. Options, you're staying in downward facing dog, or you can come into child posture. or you can pop 3 planks in. So inhale into your plank, push the heels away, engage the core, back to down dog. Inhale into your plank, push the heels away. Remember, you can pop the knees down straight away. Exhale back to dog. And then one more, inhale into your plank. And exhale back to the dog. Bring your knees to the mat. We simply lay on our backs. And draw the knees into the chest. So we are going to do some abdominal work with the knees over the chest. So open the arms nice and wide, as if you're on a cross. Soften the shoulders. Take an inhale and exhale the knees to the right. Now don't let them land on the mat, just let them hover. Inhale back to the center and exhale, hover over to the left. We're just working the external obliques. It's also very therapeutic for your back. Inhale back to the center, exhale over to the right. Inhale back to the center, exhale over to the left. We can intensify this if we want to. We're going to do 3 more. So if you want to intensify it over to the right, keep your shoulders on the mat, but straighten your legs. Bend the knees to return to center, exhale to the left. Either keep the knees bent or straighten the legs, but keep the shoulders on the mat. Back to the center, to the right. Remember your options. Straighten if you want to. Knees bend to come back to the center, over to the left. Straighten if you want to. Back to the center, over to the right. And again, straighten if you want to. Bend the knees, over to the left, and straighten. Back to the center. Place the feet one at a time on the mat. So draw the heels towards your buttocks, and we are going to lift those buttocks up. So take a long deep inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to point the pubic bone to the ceiling and lift up the buttocks. So we have a little back bend going on here. Shuffle the shoulder blades together and lift a little bit higher. And a nice stretch in the front quadriceps as well. Squeeze those glutes, so recruit those glutes. When you're walking, squeeze your glutes. Every step, a little squeeze, a little squeeze. When you're walking, these glutes get lazy. And then release down. Bring the knees together and the feet together. Just going to work into the abdominals with the same posture. You're going to lift up, but not too high, so it's not a complete back bend. It's more of a straight spine. And then straighten your right leg. And then release down, release the whole body down. Feet together, knees together. Remember, it's not a complete back bend, it's just a straight spine as we lift up the hips. Knees together, left leg rises. More for the abs. Release. Lay the whole body down. 2 more. Inhale, lift, straight back. Right leg straight. Release, body down. Lift up, back straight. Lengthen, left leg. Feel the control you need in the abdominals. And release. And the last one. Lift, lengthen. These exercises are from Dr. Stuart McGill, spine specialist. Release down. Lift and lengthen. And then release down. Good work. Both knees into the chest, one hand on each knee, little circles to the right. Little circles to the left. And then make them bigger. So good workout, guys. Straight into the abdominals. For the next 5 days, I'm going to be doing those Superman abdominals and the forearm plank. So maybe you want to join me in just short sequences of that. And maybe that one we've just carried out. So 3 in total. I'll pop them on as a little individual session on YouTube. Okay, arms wide. Going to take a very gentle twist, so just drop the knees to the right. This just restores equilibrium to the spine. Your head can go in any direction you want it to go in. And then slowly we come back to the center. Let's have another move around on that lower back by drawing the knees in. And then replace the feet flat onto the mat, knees together, ankles together, and drop the knees to the left. And again, head wherever direction you want it to be in. And then drawing the knees back over the chest. Your final comforting little roll around on those lower backs. Feet can be flat onto the mat if you have back issues, long legs. Let them be a little bit wider apart than you would normally have in a yoga class. Just you're at home, so you can have them a little bit wider apart. And then take your arms away from the body so you can feel some nice air in the armpits, soften the shoulders. And we do require just a couple of minutes of pure relaxation. So there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do for the next couple of minutes. Just bring your awareness to your breath and the awareness to relaxing all the muscles, joints and bones that we've worked today's practice. So feel free to stay here as long as you like, as long as the body requires you to. I'm going to take my leave of you. I'm going to bring my feet flat and roll over to the right side, using my hands to lift me up into any seated, comfortable position. Bring your hands in front of your heart in prayer mudra. Close your eyes. Bring your fingertips in between your eyebrows. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy. And may I be happy. Hands in front of the heart in Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.